Here now with more, Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy and Jessica Tarlov, a Democratic pollster and Senior Director of Research at Bustle.com. Congressman Duffy, we do know that there is a little bowling and pizza taking place tonight. Some convincing will likely be taking place there. Speaker Paul Ryan, you just heard him say the time is now. What does this fight look like for Republicans? And I think I'm going to go to Jessica Tarlov first.
I think it's going to be a very difficult fight. Chuck Schumer is absolutely correct that there are people on both sides of the aisle, governors, doctors, hospitals that are opposing this. And I find it really interesting that suddenly the Republicans don't need to wait for a CBO score. We have Paul Ryan on record in 2009 saying no vote until there's a CBO score.
Okay, but let's look at what happened with that, because the White House was pushed on that. Sean Spicer was asked about the White House press briefing. Why not wait for the CBO score? And he basically said, well, look what happened with Obamacare. The CBO score was absolutely off. He said he wasn't discrediting it, but why is it so necessary to wait for it when they didn't get it right with Obamacare?
Well, I think that it is necessary to wait when we have early estimates from the S&P that said 10 million would lose their insurance, and then we have Brookings today coming out and saying that it could be up to 15 million people. The American public doesn't need a new plan bad enough that this needs to be jammed down their throats, and it's not going to pass the Senate anyway.
That sort of reminds us of the whole Obamacare battle, right? And by the way, Congressman Duffy had a little bit of a problem there with his microphone. We're going to get him back if we can. Sounds like he's good now. Live TV, it's always fun.
Thank
Congressman
God.
Duffy, are you there? We definitely need to get your perspective on this, but I started out referencing Paul Ryan. He said the time is now. What are Republicans going to do? This is a fierce fight that is lining up.
Listen, he's absolutely right. And first of all, let me talk about what Nancy Pelosi is saying. Well, a cruel bill is one that has cost increases in Minnesota and Pennsylvania and Kentucky of 50% or more a year. Arizona, cost increases of 100% a year. This Obamacare is imploding, so we have to step in and save health care. And so what's going to happen is Republicans and some of the naysayers in the Republican Party are going to have to come forward with a set of ideas on how they want to reform the bill. That'll be a great, sausage-making process of legislating. But in the end, Republicans will have a choice. Are you going to vote with Donald Trump, or are you going to vote with Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama? Because this is the last best choice to take power away from Washington and instead empower people and patients.
But Congressman, what do you know about these reports that Trump told conservative groups last night that a new version could be released next week?
Well, I think there's some good points some of the naysayers will bring up that we can actually reform and look at. But in the end, what we want is a soft landing in healthcare. This is like an aircraft carrier. And if you're someone who thinks that you can change this on a dime, it's not possible. You can't repeal everything in reconciliation. If you want to repeal everything, you need 60 votes and 8 Democrats in the Senate. We don't have that, so we have to go through this step-by-step process, and people have to realize that. But that's what you promised
the American people. That's what Donald Trump promised the American people.
Jessica.
You're not. You're obviously not. As you just said, you need a soft landing, and believe me, listen, I don't think that you should be touching a lot of the things that you are. But on top of it,
Okay, so let me get back in here, and let me give it back to you, Congressman Duffy. Based on what Jessica brought up earlier, she and other Democrats have voiced their concern with this hasn't even been scored by the CBO yet. And that is a common argument right now. And Democrats are using the same argument Republicans did with Obamacare, that they feel like this is being rammed down their throat. Why not slow down? Tom Cotton, Congressman, he agrees with that. He says he's telling his Republican colleagues to start over, pause, get it right, don't get it fast.
2 points. One, we feel pretty comfortable that the score will be in the black with this bill in the initial conversations with CBO. But I feel comfortable, too, we'll have a score before it comes to the floor and we get a vote. That's positive. But when you talk about a legislative process, it's going to take 3 weeks, Sandra. Remember when Nancy Pelosi said we have to pass it so America can find out what's in it? Or when we talk about telling the truth, when they said, your health care costs for a family of 4 is going to go down by $2,500 a year and prices have skyrocketed, that's dishonest.
Congressman, do you like all the elements of this bill? Do you like all the elements and aspects of it?
Listen, there's improvements that can be made. I think the Medicaid block granting can be improved. How we deal with a refundable tax credit, that can be improved. But again, you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. This is our one shot to get health care done. And Republicans in the end, with Donald Trump on his Twitter, going to town or going to districts of the Freedom Caucus where he got more votes than they did, they're going to come on board because this is the best plan that we're going to get rid of Obamacare.
Well, you're not going to get Susan Collins on board if you're going after Planned Parenthood like that. You're going to have a lot of trouble with Bill Cassidy.
That's okay.
And Susan, yes, it is okay, but you can't lose more than a few of them. That's the point. You have a majority, but you don't have enough to certainly keep the bill in this form. And on top of it, you offer tax breaks for people, and then you're giving this new insurance.
All right, we've got to leave it there. And Congressman Duffy, okay, last word to you, Congressman. We got a second.
Well, we have an imploding health care plan. We have to reform it, and Republicans in the end will stand together, Sandra. Fear not.
All right, I'm so glad we got that microphone back working because it was good to get your voice.
I'm most thankful that it came back.
And Jessica Tarlov, thank you to you as well.